Well, hello, this is Mikey, your geriatric baby boomer ex-taxi driver, coming to you from inside my van in front of my driveway, or on my driveway. I never thought I'd be doing this. I was never going to make a video just sitting in my car, but at least I'm not doing my makeup and chewing a cookie. I couldn't wait to make this video. I was going to make it next week sometime, because I just posted one last night, but I couldn't wait. I was scrolling through Facebook, checking the reels there, and I check it quite often to see what my family in Vietnam is doing. That's how we keep in touch. But I ran through a post by a young, modern, feminist woman, and I just had to make a comment on it. Basically, it's a young woman, and she is preaching about how great single life is, and she don't need no man, on and on and on. So I'm going to post her video, let you watch the whole thing, and then I'll come back and comment on it.
26 more things that I love about being single and living alone. Number 1, no temper tantrums. 2, I sleep diagonally. 3, when I clean, it stays clean. 4, no one is lying to me or cheating on me. 5, I can be naked without getting groped. 6, no one's saying, just make me a list and I'll do it. 7, I don't have to remember and shop for in-laws' birthdays. 8, no one purposely disrupting me while I'm working. 9, the toilet seat is always dry and clean. 10, no dirty clothes left on the floor. 11, all of the closet space is mine. 12, my stuff is never broken or lost. 13, I don't have to share the bathroom vanity. 14, no one goes to take a shit when I say I have to pee. 15, I don't fear for my life in the passenger seat. 16, no one guilt trips me for taking a nap. 17, when I cook, I have leftovers. 18, I don't have a sexual obligation when I'm trying to go to sleep. 19, there's no one snoring when I'm trying to go to sleep. 20, my pillowcases aren't stained. 21, I don't cry on my birthday anymore. 22, I don't have to manage an adult's emotions. 23, I don't listen to anyone eat. 24, my money is mine. 25, no one's saying the dog shouldn't sleep on the bed. I'd rather sleep with her than him. And 26, no one making empty promises. Bonus 27, I never listen to video games. Add yours to the comments.
Isn't that an interesting clip? The whole gist that this woman was trying to make was her happiness was all that life was about. She can never commit to anybody because all she thinks about is herself. And I agree with her. Single life is so great, and she is so happy. She just ought to stay single, keep herself happy, and she'll also be keeping dozens of good men happy, men that could possibly be interested in her, because a woman like this can never commit. You marry somebody like this, you're never going to be good enough. No matter how much money you make, she's not going to be happy. This is the kind of woman I became a passport bro. She's the kind of woman that would pick the bear over the man. Now, a couple of years ago when I was in Vietnam, hanging out with my future wife, well, she was my wife at the time. We've been married 4 years now. We were hanging out with her friends, and I talked to some of her girlfriends. Now, these are all women that are the traditional type. They're late 50s, early 60s. So I asked these women if they had a choice between being caught in the woods with a bear or a man. They looked at me like I was stupid. Like, obviously, they said, the bear eats you. The bear kill you. A man protect you. A man would fight the bear. That isn't the way in this country. The vast majority of women will pick the bear because women in this country have very little or no respect for men. If you were born in this country and you're a male, you're automatically toxic. Masculinity and toxicity go together. The man is the enemy. Then I asked these women the old joke about if a man speaks and there's no woman to hear him, is he still wrong? And 100% in this country, all the women said, yes, he's still wrong. And I tried to explain this to my Vietnamese friends, and they just shook their head. They didn't understand what I was saying. They finally asked me, well, what does this mean? And I told them that in the United States, women thought men were always wrong. And they got a funny look on their face, because in Vietnam, women respect men, just like men respect women. In Vietnam, men are not the enemy. In my opinion, the problem with men and women in marriage in this country is the advent of Betty Friedan feminism. What was it called? The feminine mystique came out. I was right out of high school before I went in the military, so it would have been in the late 60s. And I started reading this book because it was a big deal, and I thought, well, if I learn about women, maybe I'll have a better chance of finding one. And I got partway through it, and I just threw it away. I got so mad because Betty Friedan was saying that my mom was a failure because she was a stay-at-home housewife. And if you weren't a boss babe, executive type, you were a failure in life. Raising children and having a family was subservient. So as a baby boomer growing up, you observed, your parents, your friends' parents, and husbands and wives were basically allies. You had each other's back. Your problems were the external world, not the internal world. Nowadays, where feminism preaches that men are born toxic and it's in their nature to harm women. So when you get married, the wife sees your husband as somebody to be tolerated, somebody to be wary of, somebody to fight. And it doesn't make for a good marriage at all. It's just like Chris Rock. I really like it. He says something about, you know why your wife just looks at you with disdain and she doesn't like you? You know why that is? Because you're not her first choice. Maybe she's a 5 and she's been taught all her life that what she deserves is a 10. And the husband isn't a 10. And she thinks she deserves better. And she is just tolerating you. That's why she doesn't like you. Did you notice in this clip this American woman called sex an obligation or a duty, something like that? That really hit home with me. The first time I was married over 50 years ago, I married an Italian New York Catholic princess. And the second night of marriage, the direct quote was, "What? 2 nights in a row?" And it didn't get any better. So I tried it again. I got married again. And my next wife wanted me to make an appointment, at least 2 weeks appointment. And I told her, I make an appointment to have my oil changed, not to have sex with my wife. Now, the feminist mystique did not have a chance of taking roots in Vietnam at the same time because there was a war going on in Vietnam. And the concern there was just staying alive. Now, my parents, the greatest generation, they were brought up during the Great Depression when life was really tough. and you didn't know if you were going to get the next meal. Mothers would make dresses for their girls out of flour sacks, and you were lucky to have a roof over your head. And then when things started getting better, World War II came along, and for years, 4 years, the whole country was concerned about the war. And so the greatest generation went off and fought the war. And after they got home, things looked different. I kind of understand that. I did 2 tours in Vietnam myself, and Winston Churchill said something about life has a flavor that the protective will never know. After you've been through a war and you get home where it's safe and you got enough to eat and you're not too hot and you're not too tired, you really appreciate it. Now, in contrast, when my wife was growing up, at 5.5 years old, she was orphaned because of the war. She would come home from kindergarten, and many times she had to go out in the fields and work the rice fields at 5.5 years old to eat. She would come home from kindergarten, and sometimes her girlfriend from kindergarten would take her home and her mother would feed her. And her little girl from friend from kindergarten, they're still friends. I've been to their house several times, and she was telling me when they were growing up, just to stay alive, they had to eat pig food, pig slop, food that you fed to the pigs, and that's what they survived on. Then the war ends and life after the communists didn't take over. My wife had a hard life. It's amazing. She's such a sweet person. So when she met me and she saw a man who would protect her and support her, we both chose each other, and we're not enemies. We're not fighting each other. Our problems are external. We've got each other's back. And my goal in life right now is to help keep her safe and happy. And hers is the same way. She will sacrifice for me to keep me happy. So consequently, we are both very, very happy. We've been married a little over 4 years now, and geriatric honeymoon really is pretty darn good. It's better than anything I had married to American women in my younger days. Of course, there are good women in the United States, but they're very few and hard to find. I've been saying this for years. Marrying an American woman is like playing Russian roulette with 5 live rounds in a 6-shooter. You can put the gun up to your head and pull the trigger, and you may live, but most likely you're going to blow your brains out. And then you ask me, well, Mikey, you old guy, what's the solution? How do I pick a good woman? And I go, I'm 78, I still haven't figured that out. You can pick out red flags, but you just can't tell. Women are clever, they'll string you along, and when they get bored, find somebody better, they're going to divorce you, take your money, take your kids, take your home. Marriage vows mean nothing. Honor, obey, till death do us part, better or worse you can't enforce that. You go to family court in a divorce, and it's all about the money. Who's going to get the kids? Who's going to get the money? Love has nothing to do with it. Marriage vows in this country are nothing but a financial contract that are all against the men. There's a saying that marriage is good for men, and it is. But the problem is divorce is even better for the woman. I think some of the differences between men and women is, especially in my generation, was the draft. You had to go into the military if you were a man. And you go to boot camp and you just get hazed something terrible. And I didn't realize it till later. It wasn't hazing just to haze somebody. It was to teach the people in the military that everybody's equal now. You're equal because you're brought down to the bottom. And you learn that your mommy and daddy's money don't mean anything. Your religion doesn't mean anything. Your social status doesn't mean anything. It's how you perform. And one of the ways you perform is you realize that you're no more valuable than the guy is next to you. And if you're going to survive, your comrade, your shipmate, you gotta work together. And that got ingrained into most veterans, and that's how it is with me. My wife is my ally, and we both have each other's back. Modern feminism, sorry about that. So if I was a young man right now and I was interested in getting married, I wouldn't marry an American woman. You might get a good one, but chances are you're going to play Russian roulette and you're going to lose. You can have a long-term relationship with a woman without bringing the government in, signing a marriage contract there, which just is a financial piece of paper that is no good for the man. And you can have kids. You're still going to be obligated to support them if you split up. But I would never get married. If I was going to get married, I would look overseas. Like in my case, Vietnam, where women are different. And I've had a little experience being in the Philippines too, in the military, and understand the women in the Philippines are a little more traditional, but this country, guys, women are expensive. There's no two ways about it. And where you find one in this country, the Philippines or Vietnam, it's going to cost you. It's what you get for your money. And for me, women in America are a crapshoot. So until my next video, ta-ta for now. Laugh and be happy.
90% of women don't want love. They want a hard-working donkey with zero self-respect, who will give them free accommodation, pay their bills, feed and clothe them, and tolerate their 7,080 mental issues and bad character.
Here's the kernels. Oh, I don't care. Okay. Yeah. Kernels.
Mình trao nụ cười, trao nhau mấy câu thăm hỏi, khắc ghi chuyện tình yêu ta giữ bền lâu, tiền vui trong niềm vui